Welcome one and all to another great coin rating and review here on the Culture of Currency. Today we are diving deep into a coin that has seen itself around the world for hundreds of years, and yet, here in the United States, it's often scarcely heard of. If you could identify this coin in the thumbnail, hats off to you. And if you couldn't identify it, buckle up, like, and subscribe as we dive into the Thaler. As always, we'll be placing this coin on our 60-point scale, but first, we need to understand the history and culture of this coin so we might understand its value effectively. The mint date on this coin is 1780, and as you can see by the quality of this coin, it seems a little fishy. There are reasons for that which we will address shortly. This coin is what we know as a Thaler. A Thaler is usually a large silver coin that was granted for transactions in all areas of the Holy Roman Empire in the early modern era, which often is described from late medieval to early classical in historical chronology. These coins usually fall in the 40mm range, so about the size of an American silver eagle. There are all types of Thalers out there with differing designs for the time and area of the Holy Roman Empire where they were struck, but today we focus our attention on what is known as the Maria Theresa Thaler. As the name would suggest, this coin bears the bust of Maria Theresa, who was born in 1717, which is the early classical period of history. She succeeded her father, Emperor Charles IV, in 1740 when she was just 23 years old, and titled the Queen of Bohemia, Hungary, and the Archduchess of Austria. There's a lot more history here, including a war over the succession of the throne that, if you're bored one day, is a really good read, but we're going to get into some specifics for this coin. On September 21st, 1753, Theresa and the Dutch of Bavaria signed the Coinage Convention, which standardized all silver coins to be struck the same in Austria and Bavaria. This really helped with fair trade throughout her land and eventually many other places. The minting of these coins created the Maria Theresa Thaler, like you see here, also known as the Levante Thaler. A couple of variations of this coin that were struck up in 1780, like the addition of a widow's veil after her husband died, but every coin after 1780 is struck relatively the same with very slight modifications, which we will try to address. The coin was standard currency in Austria until 1858, yet it still would have the date of 1780 as the mintage. This is because Theresa was so loved that all coins struck after this date were to bear her death year as the mintage. This is the reason why it's really hard to tell what year your Thaler might be after 1780, but I found some pointers that might help you out. Some interesting facts about this coin is that it was so widespread and trusted that much of Africa used this coin as standard currency up until the end of the Second World War. This coin is very common from North Africa out to Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and even the coast of Tanzania. This coin was also found throughout the Middle East to India as trade currency. It is thought that the word dollar that we use in America is derived from their Thaler. In 1857, Emperor Franz I of Austria doubled down on this coin, making it the official trade coinage, where it was restruck in Austria, but also was granted to be struck in European cities of Rome, London, Brussels, Paris, and a few others, as well as Bombay. The sheer spread of this coin's mintage makes me think that this coin could be the most used coin in the history of the world, and I'm so glad to have one in my hands, though they are far from rare. Experts cannot put a number on mintage, but it is thought that there are over 800 million that have been struck throughout the years, making it one of the highest struck coins ever. Some say that the Vienna Mint will restrike as needed even today. I haven't looked into that myself, but it doesn't surprise me. Let's dive into this coin before we rate it, just to give you a little more information. You can purchase this coin on Apmex or many other sites if you want one. Know that they are widely available. This coin, as stated, is a little bit over 40mm, I believe 42mm to be exact, and has a silver weight of just under a troy ounce. When these were minted, the troy ounce was not the standard for trade. According to the Numista website, there are over 150 different major variants, and virtually all dies produced before 1850 had minor differences. Subtle differences in design style and lettering allow determining at least partially the date and mint of the coin. Some variations are very rare, with 10 pieces or less being known to exist. If you have one of these and have no idea how to know where it was minted, there's a website that can help you. www.teresa.name/en/svariants.html, should be right here, is a website that is very helpful in understanding, at least to some extent, the mintage dates and locations for your Thaler. Briefly, I will go over a couple of items that can show you how to research for variants, but the mentioned website goes more in depth. The brooch is the first sign. Some brooches had no pearls, some were round with 9 pearls, and some were like mine, as you see here, that are oval with 9 pearls. Another thing that you can look at is the tail feathers of the eagle on the reverse. There are many different arrangements of the number of feathers based on the differing dies from each mint. My arrangement is a 1-3-1, as you can see as I've outlined. Another indicator is this X, which is actually a St. Andrew's cross. As you can see on mine, the dot is before the X and not after. It's a sawtooth X as well, which is an indicator. There are a ton of different variations, and I have not had enough time to really isolate mine to figure out its birthplace, but maybe in time I will. Now that you understand this coin better, let's place it on our 60-point scale. Up first, we have the obverse, or front of the coin. We have an older Maria Theresa, seeing as she's donning her widow's veil and is struck at least on her death year of 1790. It is my guess that this particular coin was struck in the late 1800s or early 1900s, but who knows. In some of these coins, the size of the lady was reduced to meet Arabic demands, but mine is quite large, so I don't think mine was made for the Arabic countries. We have the inscription M. Theresa DGRIMPHUBOREG, which translates to Maria Theresa, by the grace of God, Roman Empress of Hungary and Bohemia Queen. And the SF that we see below stand for the two Günzburg, I guess is how you say that, mint officials in 1780, Tobias Schobel and Josef Fabe. This is a rather basic front of the coin, but is very refreshing to see a non-Queen of England front of the coin. I think the quality shows the age and is not quite what we would get in the standard today, so it scores a 6 out of 10. The reverse or back of the coin is where we get all of the action. We have an ornate imperial double eagle stretched in all of its glory, with the Austrian arms in the center, surrounded by 4 divisions upon the shield, representing Hungary, Bohemia, Burgundy, and Günzburg. The inscription translates to Archduchess of Austria, Duchess of Burgundy, Countess of Tyrol, 1780. I think this is one of the coolest backs of coins I've ever seen. It is an amazing period piece of art with detail and texture beyond measure. I think this scores a perfect 10. Now to get to mintage. As stated before, this is the Achilles heel of so many great coins on our scale. There's an estimated 800 million or more that have been minted, so this cannot get any more than a 1 out of 10. When it comes to cultural significance, this coin has one of the most storied histories of all coins I can think of. It has a history and culture not only within the borders of Austria, but throughout the world. I've never seen a more perfect example of cultural significance as this coin holds, therefore it must be a 10. Now for collectability. This is a coin that is still used as trade currency in bazaars in some Middle Eastern countries. This coin has a history beyond measure and is attainable to really anyone within the online market. I do not think that the draw is strong as some other coins, and I attribute that to many not really wanting a non-100% silver coin, as this one isn't, but it is high silver content, but I kind of equate it to constitutional silver for the Eastern Hemisphere. It is absolutely worth having one, if not many of these, so I grade that an 8. Now for uniqueness. This coin has been minted throughout the world for hundreds of years without much change. And the crazy part is that I cannot think of any coin just like it. I gave the American Silver Eagle and Krugerrand a perfect 10 for uniqueness because even though there were tons minted, they were the only ones in the market like them. The Thaler is just like that. I think that this coin is recognizable throughout the world and not to be confused with any other, which makes it score a perfect 10. This brings our total score to a 45 out of 60, which is honestly less than I think this coin deserves. My heart thinks that this coin should be at about a 55, but the scale is our marker. In conclusion, this is a coin that is often competitively priced with 1 ounce silver coins, and I think that everyone who collects coins with historical merit in mind must make it a point to have one of these. This is probably the most historically fascinating coin I can think of that is attainable to everyone. So go out today and get yours, and remember that when you add it to your cart, to also remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.